cigarette. Ban.
Ban. His cigar's too big.
Yes,
Well, we are live on the 98 podcast, and we have Yanni on tonight, and I'll let him introduce himself and tell you guys what his role is with what's going on with WAF and the Bulgarian arm wrestling team, and tell us your story. What his role is with what's going on. Oh, some reverb there.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, so go ahead and just introduce you. Tell them, about you being an attorney, all that stuff.
Yeah, actually, at this point, it doesn't really matter that I'm an attorney. But yeah, because I'm an arm wrestler. This is what matters.
Yep.
And also, I'm a person, which is point will be valid point in our conversation. Having in mind some moral point of view that is related to the whole matter. But yeah, my name is Yanni, and I'm an arm wrestler for almost 20 years. I'm from Bulgaria, where the bad apple in arm wrestling at the moment. And while we're not going to address all the matters in one single podcast, I think this is my opinion, the way we should discuss this, because it's a lot of information. It's a lot of the time frame is really big, but still there are a lot of important stuff that has to be said and have to be digested by the arm wrestling community. I don't think it's very important to introduce myself, but it's very important. The stuff that we're going to discuss are very important. How it all started, why is there an issue, why we're making this podcast even. I mean, because for the States, or for Ryan, for Paul, for Chris, or for whatever producer, I should be nobody, basically. And the people involved in this shenanigans should be nobody as well, but they are, and we're having this podcast. So the first question is why. The question why is basically a little bit bundled with the question who is responsible for this. And you can tell that this is something that comes into the agenda because of the actions of this one guy, the president of WAF. Everything starts from there. And as far as I see it, I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but we are here because of this. Basically, we have to address this is the elephant in the room. I mean, and it comes from there. And I'm ready to answer whatever questions. At this point, probably it will be very boring to show you documentation and stuff. We have this; it's not a big issue. But first, probably it will be a good starter to explain you a little bit on how it went in Bulgaria, this separation, because this is where the butterfly effect started. And step by step, it reached Turkey, it reached Europe, and apparently it reached the States. And in my opinion, this is where it went, because it's at some point it's too much. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but when it goes global, everybody can see the truth and what you're doing. So basically, in Bulgaria, what we went through, I don't know if you know Cvetan Gashevsky, who this person is. Probably you know. Arm wrestling community knows who he is. And he kept on going of what he is doing for the arm wrestling. hoping that the Bulgarian Federation is doing well enough. We're doing what we're supposed to do. The so-called executive body is somehow defending the the, the interest of the Bulgarian arm wrestling, but it turned out that it's not so. So in 2019, I think Krasimir Kostadinov wanted to confront Asen regarding the stuff that were going on with the Bulgarian Federation. It didn't go well because this was not, it was a little bit more like an emotional protest. It was not like fully prepared. I don't blame Krasi for this. He was right in what he was trying to do. But in any ways, it was, swiped under the rug in a manner of speech. But afterwards, we went for the documentations about what's going on, and we saw that, yeah, it's. I mean, what we were wondering, the matters that we were wondering what is going on with them, it turned out that it's a lot of unclarity, and afterwards it turned out that it's a lot of corruption. Which, okay, I mean, we knew that there is a corruption in our local federation. We didn't know that it is at that level. So the logical thing is we wanted a congress. I mean, like speaking with we, I started with my own club and addressed all the active clubs in the country that are real clubs that have real arm wrestlers, real trainers, real gyms, everything. And I told them, listen, guys, I mean, I'm not okay with this. I'm going against this. I don't care. Whoever wants to go, please. It turned out that people can think clearly. So we all went against this and asked for a congress. On the congress, Asen put the security and didn't let us in the hall. Okay, no worries. We made the meeting in front of the building, knowing that it's not going to be accepted legally, but anyway, we even called the police. So things don't escalate. We call the police. We call the media. There was reporters filming this. And meanwhile, before the Congress, he started excluding us. Like, he called the board of the federation, which is him, Asen, his wife, his right hand, his lawyer, a proxy of few clubs that are his clubs, phantom clubs, and they expelled the other clubs. I'm not going to get into details about this. There were like doubtful doping stuff involved. I mean, whatever they needed in order to ban us from the federation, they used it, regardless, true, not true, whatever. But they didn't want to sit on the table. I'm explaining this, just a little bracket. I'm explaining this because in probably in the next minutes or hour, I don't know how much time we have, but you see that this is a pattern that goes through the whole organization. And basically, this is the thing that is creating the problem. So that's why I'm starting from the beginning. Probably for the public is boring because nobody cares what happens in Bulgaria. But I'm explaining this because it's really a pattern, how it goes. So they expelled us. They made phantom clubs. We documented this. There was an investigation. There is still a prosecutor's investigation about this. Whatever. And while we're waiting for the prosecution to finish to do their job, and the Ministry of Sports to do their job, we made a separate organization, and actually turns out that it's at the moment is better. I mean, Now at the Worlds, we have the biggest national team that ever competed on the on international competition. We had 53 competitors on the Worlds. We finished third in the team ranking, and these are real numbers because in the WAF Federation we were used to have like false protocols, like names that never went on stage, stuff like this, just to do the protocols. And why I am on the podcast is because I have the legal background in order to get this information, in order to present it to the clubs. Because for an arm wrestler or whatever sportsler, it, it's not. I mean, if you're competing in a federation, it's not your job to do this. Your job is to train, rest, and help the club, whatever, and again repeat. That's it. You don't have to do with politics. But when it goes south, somebody has to step in and just at least, uncover the curtain and say, listen, this is it. Are you okay with this? I mean, this is what you're doing. Because with us, what happened is after Svetan, a lot of arm wrestlers from the past 20 years, they went from arm wrestlers to trainers. Some of them made their own clubs. And at some point, when you made your own club, you train other guys how to arm wrestle, and you develop the sport. You somehow contribute to the community in this manner. And when there is somebody that solely tells you what to do and what you cannot do, you at some point ask yourself, okay, what the fuck I'm doing this even? I mean, why? I guess yeah, it's still going. I'm seeing the comment. That's why I'm interrupting this way. Mario's Gate. Yeah, it's still going. It's going slower than we thought because we have a kind of a political crisis in Bulgaria for the past almost 3 years. We have constant elections, and I don't know if you know, but here when there are elections and there is no stable government, it's very difficult to do whatever. I mean, nobody wants to risk their position and do whatever. So yeah, it's still going. Action taken against these guys beyond man. No, they are not, and we will get no. They are not, and they cannot be any actions. We will get through this. They even banned my Asen, banned my club, and fined it. He sent me a fine of 5,000 euro, and I have this on a document in English from WAF. I'm banned 5,000 euro. That one of my competitors from my club was caught with doping on the World Championship, and I was like, okay. I went to a meeting with Asen, and I'm not going to release all the details because some of them are strictly local and ridiculous. I mean, at the time, I thought that it's not okay to record this meeting. But after a year, I regret this. I mean, it's not right to do it, but I regret this because even if I take a hit or any harm that I did record this meeting, I mean, the benefit from the community would have been better. So I regret I didn't do this. But it doesn't matter. I have the document that he's fining me because of one of my guys with doping. This is like a few days after we asked for the Congress. So, I'm not saying I never saw the results from the test and know whether rules were properly followed regarding this. It was like, quick, we have to get somebody on doping. He even could have been on doping. It doesn't matter. Just the procedure is broken. And he finds the club with 5,000 euro, and he bans this athlete. And I was like, Hassan, first, how do you think that you can enforce this fine on the club? Because there's no legal way, first. And second, why the fuck are we doing this? I mean, we want a Congress. It's a democracy. We sit, we discuss, and we vote. That's it. Schluss and basta. That's it. He didn't answer. He asked for this 5,000 euro. And I said, nah, thank you. And he said, okay, listen, what we're going to do, you're going to help me with some stuff, and I'm going to pay the fine on your behalf. And I was like, please. I mean, I don't know in what bubble you live in, but no, thank you. So this is how it works. It's with threats that are hollow, and with actions that can never be taken. I'm explaining this. I'm a little bit off the track that I was on, but because of the comment that I saw on the screen, because he told us
Yanni,
accept the bans. No, there is nothing except the bans. And in order to be direct, you can see. Just ask yourself a question. I mean, this guy that wrote.
Do you want us to read questions as they come in, or wait, or how do you want us to do it?
I don't mind. You're the host. I mean, whatever you want.
So Yanni, I want to ask you this, because Jay Corbin, he says, in what court is the lawsuit being filed?
In the Sofia City Court.
Okay, thank
you.
The
competent court, because the federation is registered in Sofia.
Gotcha.
And the prosecution is also in the Sofia prosecutor's office.
Okay, and when was that filed? Like, what was this, like a year, 2 years ago, recently?
2 years ago, we won one of the cases, lost another in a very suspicious way. But you see, the court matters because in worldwide, people were talking about the court like there is that this is a definitive action, the court decision. In our case, in order to explain legally, I will need about 2 hours, because the court, what we are appealing to the court, is a civil suit case for our ban, for us being banned. I mean, us, like 15 clubs, being banned from the federation. We are doing this only because we feel that we have to. It's the right thing to do. But even if we win this, on the next day, the same board will just ban us again. So we have to start all over. So it's not about the courting. This is about the prosecutor's office. This is about the criminal part of it, the falsification of signatures, the misuse of public funds, the training camps, the airplane tickets, stuff like this. This is what we're going after, and it's not even to bring down Hassan personally. I don't care if Hassan is the president of WAF or Bulgarian Federation or whoever it is. The point is that in this manner, this guy is operating in Bulgaria the same way he's operating in WAF.
So Yanni, this is what I really would like to hear from you, and I think everybody else would. We'll get into all this, and you're setting a great context of what's going on with Bulgaria and how they operate and things. But what I think people want to really hear is, exactly what are they doing? Because I know I had Jordan Sonov on my channel 2 weeks back, and he went on for like a half an hour, and he started breaking down what he's experienced directly, where they were putting on saying that he was running a training camp and he was one of the coaches there, and he wasn't actually there. And
this is we took documents from the ministry for the past 10 years. It's a lot of documents, all the programs that they went through, all the documents they presented in order to get public funding from the ministry. It's a lot of training camps. Even people, I mean, uh, I don't want the hearsay, but I've heard before we started, I've heard stories from people that are big names, but I'm not going to mention the names. If somebody wants me to go for it, I, I will calculate if it's of benefit for the community to know. But I don't want to speak with some names at this point. But people that were called that, listen, man, you were on a training camp. If somebody asked, you were on this training camp, and this is not like a big news or whatever. I mean, this happens in a lot of countries. It's a standard thing to do. When you do your paperwork in order to get the funding, you somehow, twist and turn some stuff. So yeah, what Jordan was saying and what other people were saying, that actually a lot of the guys here were very surprised that their names are on this list. They never went there. They said, I mean, this is how stupid can you be? I was at work on this day, and my employer can prove this. How stupid can you be to file this? Because they never thought that somebody will look into it. You have to understand that it comes from a person that grew up in a small town in Bulgaria. For him, it's very simple. He doesn't care about arm wrestling. He cares about protocols.
Can I ask you this, Yanni? So is we don't understand the whole breakdown. So can you explain, like, by having these training camps and all, who's paying for that? So it's your government is now sending money to whoever is collecting it. Like, so they're making a fake training camp. How does the whole money thing work from that? Like,
it's very simple. You have a federation, and there are programs each year for different amounts, but they're similar each year. Similar terms, similar money. So you have a federation, and you say, listen, for the last, like, you have 2 months in order to apply the documents for the program, and you go and say to the ministry, I have last year I had this many competitors on this internet.
hold on, Chris, is that you typing that we hear? It's like really loud. Yeah. If you could just mute that. Thank you, brother. Sorry, Yanni, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
Yeah, no worries. So you have this. We had this many competitors on the Europeans, this many competitors on the worlds. These are the protocols from the World Federation, which the same guy signing these protocols, and we were on this location for this camp for this amount of days with these people. And the government says it's up to a certain amount, and the government, the ministry decides what amount to give. And every year is almost the same amount. But the thing is that when you take the documents and when you see this, you see names that they never attended. And the explanation of Asen was that they were invited, but they never went, which is, it's offensive to the intellect of the people that you're explaining to, because you presented documents that these people were there, and you expect for the ministry to fund this thing. It's not people that were invited. You do not declare people that were invited. And it's a small matter. I mean, this pattern is going through every single matter that goes to the ministry.
So it's kind of like no-show jobs. It's like that's what they do in where we come from in North America. Like the unions, they put in for the so and so was there, but those people actually weren't there, so they're receiving their paycheck when they shouldn't be. So I'm just trying to, connect it for everybody else so that they could understand it, because we don't have anything like that with arm wrestling here. The government doesn't fund anything. So I just kind of want to like put the context on it so that the subscribers understand.
Yeah, I understand that for North America, this is very hard to understand. So I doubt that this can be covered everything in one podcast, and this will have to further explain, because with you don't have such thing. And for you this is not even an issue. I mean, some Bulgarians are fighting some over some money in Bulgaria. It's not. This is not the issue, even though they're trying to somehow simplify it like this. This is not the issue, because we're imagine if everything went well and everybody were happy, we would be happy with this. This guy's doing stuff. We don't mind. I mean, let him do whatever he wants. But let the arm wrestling go.
Yeah.
I mean, develop. I mean, this is not something that it's very special for our country. This happens in a lot of countries. But he developed a way in which he can establish a dictatorship, do whatever he wants, and this is basically how WAF is even looking at the moment.
Yeah, so
People
Yanni,
from the right country doing the same thing, the same pattern. If you're not doing this, you're out of WAF. And where do you go? You go to IFA. And when you go to IFA, they start with their, points that this is not the regional federation. This is not the people that these people are the same crooks or whatever. Yeah, they probably can be. I have no idea. I mean, probably they are. I don't know. But the thing is that it's not working the same at the moment. And the thing that they're going after is that the problem is WAF versus IFA. It's not. It's not. It's just simply the problem is simply WAF, regardless if it's IFA. To be clear, everybody can open an international federation. Everybody can make a world arm wrestling federation in whatever country you want. Okay, probably not in the country that WAF is registered, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you can go to Macedonia, China. I can open an World Arm Wrestling Federation in Hong Kong. It will cost me few $1,000s. It's not a big deal. We can do this, but this is not the issue. It's not the issue who is WAF or what is WAF. WAF is nothing. Basically, that's what WAF is. WAF is something because a bunch of people sat on a table somewhere and decided that this is the best way to hold everybody on a leash, take governmental funding, and everybody be happy. This is pure post-communistic socialism.
yeah, so Yanni, quick question. So regarding the lawsuit, I know you said that it's to go into detail would take too long, but just the very basics of the lawsuit is, from my understanding, you have a civil lawsuit that is mainly the money related to them falsifying, records. But as you said, there's also something related to a prosecution. Like, what's the result that Bulgaria is actually trying to get out of these lawsuits?
No, the civil lawsuit is about our membership of all the clubs.
Okay,
gotcha. In the federation.
Mm-hmm.
And when we won the first one, and we saw that they can continue to exclude us, we just went, and we had this idea before that, and we started this before that for another federation. We said, according to our constitution, we're free to make our own organization. Nobody can stop us. So we went and make our own organization. It's called Bulgarian Arm Wrestling Federation. Just for comparison, Asen's federation in Bulgaria is called Bulgarian Canadian Wrestling Federation. It's a different story. So, yeah. We went and we did this because in Bulgaria, according to the constitution, we are free to associate. We can do whatever organizations we want, and they cannot stop us. We cannot get the license from the ministry for the sport because in Bulgaria, for some reason, we have this law that says that only one federation of certain sport can have a license. Okay, fair enough. But Asen's federation is part of WAF. This is one of the requirements. You have to be part of an international federation. Our federation, for now, is, and from recent, is part from IFA. because this is the other international federation. And we are now reaching to the point which one is is more international federation. And even it's not, it's a rhetorical question because it doesn't matter. But the thing is that we're going after this because it's funny. I mean, we have to push this. It's very funny for me to see how these cards are going to play. Because how do you tell which is better, WAF or IFA? If you say WAF, why? We have better numbers in the other federation. If you say IFA, then why? WAF is older federation. So who is competent to say which one? So this is one of the local stuff, and this is purely civil in order to answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
Civil thing, civil court case. There's some doubtful stuff that went through the second case because a sense organization they saw that it's not harmless, so they pulled some strings that we didn't want to, because when we made our separate organization, we just draw some lines that we won't pass in order not to turn into a sense organization. So we never went through these lines. If we did, this would already be over. Everything. If we acted like he is acting, it would be over. But we are optimistic. Probably stupid. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, it's arm wrestling. It's not a multi-billion company. So we are holding to our morals. And this is the civil part. The criminal part is another issue. It's not going to end soon. But at this point, we don't care.
That's the one that we really want to know. So what are you claiming in the criminal case?
Oh, a lot of stuff. First, the training camps that you put, when you put a signature on something that is not true, it's a false document. Second, I mean, it's all about false documents at the end of the day. But when you elect yourself as president of the Bulgarian Federation with the signature that is not of the person that is on this at this club. I mean, he elected himself with 3 clubs, no proxies, no power of attorneys, 3 clubs. 3 clubs. One that the president is his wife. The other club that the president is one of his friends. And the third one is signed by a person that is not the president of this club. And this was done having in mind that legally, in order to have a federation in Bulgaria, you need at least 7 clubs. So this guy just went and signed that these 3 clubs, this document is public and can be downloaded from the commercial register even. So you can imagine how silly this is. And he went and published this and signed that, yeah, these are all the clubs of the Bulgarian Federation.
Now, hold on.
One of the stuff. The others are, I mean, I can go on and on. They even published a slip from the banking of from the bank account of the Bulgarian Federation. There you can see stuff that I don't know if we have that much time, but like the government is giving 150,000 to organize a European Championship. Then this amount is sent to the European Federation, the European Arm Wrestling Federation, for license fees. And afterwards, you can see at the slip from the banks from the banking that the bank account from the European Arm Wrestling Federation is in Bulgaria, in the same bank as the Bulgarian Arm Wrestling Federation, and it's the same person that has access to it.
That's crazy.
So what would be the result if this prosecution goes through and they find out that they're falsifying all these records? What would be the end result to a SEN or WAF?
The result would be in in the way it should be, that he will be persecuted for the falsifying of documents, and he won't be a president of the Bulgarian Federation anymore. Afterwards, I don't care if he's going to, I don't know, to spend some time in this, certain institution. I don't care. I really, I don't want to. This is not the purpose of it. I don't care. I just don't want for this to be like, to be in this matter. And not only me, everybody here, they want for this guy to just go away. I mean, you did what you've done. Okay, good for you. We let you do it in some way. We didn't argue it before. I mean, yeah, partially it's our fault, but we never thought that somebody can be that greedy.
So
Okay,
let me ask you
so
this:
do
if
whatever you want.
you said Bulgaria will only fund one federation, so if you could prove that it was corrupt, his federation, would they then think about funding yours? Like, could that be changed if you could prove corruption?
If they lose their license,
Yeah,
we will apply for the license.
right.
It will be given to us.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
at this point, we don't, or person. Okay, I personally don't think that this is the most important thing for us,
Right.
because this funding, when it's regarding the federation, apparently now everybody saw on IFA, we went there just to show that we don't need federation, we don't need a ministry.
Right.
The the only thing that matters here is for the big names in the federation, because when you go on international championship and you have the federational license, you can ask the ministry to give you the money for your gold medal, and this is for the big names in our federation, and for them it matters. But
Right.
but
Can we do a question and answer kind of thing with you right now, where we could just ask a few questions and
just let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish on this topic. So at the moment, it turns out that the big money are in professional organizations. So basically, if we had like Jordan, one of our strongest guys, and he if he relies on the gold medal on the world championship for him to get funding to go through the year, it's very small part of the funding that he can get from attending professional professional championships. Very small part. And the problem now, it goes, why he cannot attend. And I believe that you're aware of the issue, because he is banned.
Right.
But like, you won't receive money in our country, but I'm going to do whatever I can so you don't receive money from whoever. So you can see that this is not longer a local thing, not longer a federation thing or club thing. It's personal.
Yeah.
And you know well that in business, when you get in personal stuff, you just fail.
Yeah, sorry, fellas. I gotta leave a little early, but thank you again, Yanni, for doing all this. I'll be in the chat asking some more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Chris.
So yeah, let's go question and answer, because I can really go on and on with this stuff, and probably I will sound to a lot of people a little bit chaotic, but it's so connected in a certain matter. It's very difficult to go step by step, because it's a lot of
let me ask you this, bro. I want to pull some things out of you. That's really what I think we could get, to the topics that everybody wants to hear by just, a couple of little questions so that we could understand, because everything behind. We really don't. A lot of these guys are a little confused at what's going on here. So what my question is, do you have access to know how much your government is giving to arm wrestling altogether every year? Is that like public knowledge?
Yeah, it's about in average about 100,000 euro per year.
Per year. So now WAF
For the
has
past years. Some years is less, some years is more, but yeah, about 100,000 euro.
so that's a lot of money that we're talking about that's on the table. So now WAF has access to this before it gets to the athletes. Is that what's kind of going on because they're the main federation? So it's
No,
practically
WAF has nothing to do with it. WAF is just the same guy. I mean, you're signing one document with the left hand so that the right hand can take the money in the pocket. That's
okay.
it. Very simple. This is how it works for every other country. They need a SAN, they need their connections with him in order for them to have the document signed that they need for the local ministries. This is what is happening in Croatia, in Romania, in Turkey, in Kazakhstan. Everywhere we can get. So WAF is relying on these countries. WAF is not relying on the USA. Do you know why?
Because we would never do it.
And the government doesn't pay
you cannot depend.
Yeah.
And not only you, a lot of other countries. And there are other countries that they don't have the restriction of one federation and they can have two. So in these countries, you can go one part can go with WAF and receive whatever protocols, positions, medals, whatever they want in order to present to the government. But on the other hand, they're free legally to go with the other federation and present also documents. And what is happening at the end is that you have two applicants for the program, and the ministry seeing that, okay, why is one of the applicants doing way better than the other? And this creates a problem. How do you resolve this problem? Very simple. You just ban the top guys from one of the federations.
Yeah.
Now, is this
You cannot go, or to be perfectly clear, how can I stop this from going on and on? You are not going to East versus West. Because this is what's going on. I mean, we have to be clear on this. And I'm telling you this not because I don't like East versus West or something, but this is what's going on. And people have to open their eyes. I mean, Engin is using WAF as a whip, as a protection shield for his whatever he wants to do. I have nothing against the guy. It can be other guy. It doesn't matter. But this is what is happening at the moment. I don't like somebody, I cannot ban him because I'm not WAF, I'm not IFA, I'm completely innocent. But hey, Asen, please ban this guy.
Yeah. Yep.
This is what's happening.
Now, how does Asan get all the power? Now, he's able to control this in all the countries. So you're given a small sample size of what's going on in Bulgaria. But my question is this being replicated and he's in charge of all these other countries' money they're allocated every year?
Can I ask you, what power do you think he has?
I think he's the president and he's connected in with all the governments, kind of like what you're saying. And my guess is that each government is getting allotted a certain kind of money and he's in control of all that money. And he distributes
He's not
else?
in control of that money. From your understanding, what power the president, regardless if it's a senator or whoever, has over the federation in, let's say, Turkey? What power?
Well, I'm thinking because he's behind WAF and that's the main federation being recognized, he's in total power over that. And, I'm thinking that he's controlling who's anointed then the power in Turkey. And if they're in his pocket, they're going to be taken care of, nicely. They get their salaries for being a coach or whatever. And that's what makes them want to work with him. And that's how, he's calling up Asan in the back channels when he doesn't want somebody to be able to pull at East versus West or something. And he's making the phone call. And because they're all in the same pocket all together, that's why stuff like this has happened. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you're correct. That's why WAF is now composed from countries that they have benefits from this. because the local federation, you hold the signature and stamp, so you can authorize whatever documents people in the national federation are requiring for them to do whatever they want to do. But in reality, let's say, because I said Turkey, okay, I addressed them a little bit more complicated country. But in reality, what's happening is that the Turkish national team depends on the government, of the funding from the government. This goes only through the WAF signature. The Turkish government has no idea what WAF is. It's a documented certificate of incumbency, actual standing of an entity that goes to them, and that's it. And they sign the documents, they go say, okay, there are a lot of people arm wrestling, this is a sport that is developing and everything is perfect, so they give you the money. So the government is afraid of ASEAN, because if ASEAN bans them and do not give them this document, they're off, which at this point is not true, because they can go to another federation and get the same document. They say to the ministry, the president of the Turkish Federation can say to the ministry, I'm giving you this new certificate of incumbency because the old federation is no longer existent, and this is the new one, and we are fulfilling the legal requirement. So the ministry, they don't care which federation it is, because they're not legally competent to compare and to say which one is better. You're presenting this document. That's it. You're fulfilling the requirements, so you get the funding. And now, if you say no, what will happen? Because I probably shouldn't have brought Turkey that soon in the conversation. But at the moment, what will happen? If the Turkish Federation, for some reason, says, ASEAN, we don't like what you're doing, in reality, ASEAN cannot say anything, because if you lose this country, he lose what? If at this moment, if I don't know how they're going through all this legal stuff and the due diligence, but at this point, if Turkey shows the middle finger to WAF is over. That's it. No East versus West. No, Turkey are the biggest team on the World Championship in WAF. Nothing. They're left with nothing.
But Yanni, why would anybody do that when they're all getting paid from it? You know, that's like stepping on your own
federation. They can get paid from the other federation, and they can receive document from whatever federation. But the thing why they're not doing it, because the other federation at the moment is IFA, and there's a lot of propaganda going against the IFA. I mean, I'm telling you again, I'm not vouching for the IFA, but you can have not two, you can have 20 international federations and still do the same thing and not be dependent. And if you understand where I'm going, it's the same situation as in the States. You don't have a federation, but you have a lot of promoters, a lot of productions. So basically, this is it, what I'm telling you. You have 50 federations in the States, which is better, because at the end of the day, it's a free market. If we're talking about the professional arm wrestling, if we're talking about the arm wrestling in general, it still has to be free sport.
Well, the thing that I'm just having problems following, I got you on most of it, is I'm just losing you on how is WAF the guy? You know, you're saying that there is another federation, IFA, but how come they are staying in power? You know, like, what is making the governments work with them and not IFA?
Because what I've told you, the local ministry of sports in most of the countries, they don't care which federation it is. I can make a Yanni International Federation and sign my own protocols for a world championship, and it's okay. Same people, same athletes. Even we can get more medals if you're only we in two countries, to better positioning. Because in the end of the day, you go to your own country and it's all about propaganda. You go and say, I have this many gold medals. Nobody will ask you how many competitors there were in this category. Nobody cares. It's very simple. And at the moment, it's pure. I mean, uh, most of the people, they don't understand this, or they're very involved in it, and they have some other dependencies between themselves. But it's very simple. This is what it is. If you go to a competition now, Paul, you go to a competition of I don't know, frisbee throwing on the Arctic Pole, and it's only you, and you become a world champion. If you go to the States and say, I'm world champion at frisbee throwing, without mentioning any details, but I am the world champion, and you bring a gold medal, what is the chance of somebody in the States calls you for a podcast, interview, or whatever? Think about it. It's very simple. But when you play with these numbers, it's okay, because this is what drives the so-called amateur sport. It's okay. You have to do this. You have to, in quotes, lie to the government in order to get this money that will never go into sports in either way. You have to do this. But when you do this and you hinder the sport, then it's another thing. It is a totally different thing. When you go and start banning people from professional arm wrestling, it's a totally different thing. When you stop people from developing the sport, it's a totally different thing. Because, for instance, let's say we were talking about Turkey, East versus West. Before the bans, Zetan presented to Engin pads that are 20 centimeters of dimension, with pure, really valid arguments why the pads should be like this, because of falls, because of the arm wrestling itself on the table. It's a lot of valid points. And they said, like, we don't know, we will see, whatever. On the next competition, they use the same pads. They knew it's better, but Zetan is banned, and they use his know-how. So you can see the nonsense, even in this very, very small local example. And as I told you more than half an hour ago, I'm gonna tell a lot of stuff, but the people that can think, they should see the patterns. Every single thing is a pattern that's going on and on. And at this point, I don't even care about the prosecution. I don't even care about the court, because I'm seeing what's happening. People are not stupid. Arm wrestlers, the community. I mean, probably there are people that are stupid, but it doesn't matter. The majority, they're not stupid. And people can see the simple stuff. How you go and ban somebody to go on competition that is not even sanctioned by you.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous. And it leads to your question in a certain way. And the question is why people were afraid. And this is why you should ask everybody why people were afraid. And the only possible way that somebody can be afraid is that he will lose his national funding. He will be, if he's banned from WAF, he will be banned from his national federation. He won't receive the money from the government. Good. But at this point, this sport has already developed in such a manner that this money from the government in many countries are way less than the money that you can make from promotions. So why do you care that you're banned if you're a professional athlete? The amateur part is another thing. Yeah, you can go and do this. But you see, we're talking about this, and I think that all of this, the whole situation is ridiculous. We're not doing something new. This happened in all of the sports through time. At some point, when you make a sport popular, and this sport can get very popular because it's attractive, it's a hard sport. It's It's, it's something special. You need to have something special in order to do this, and it can get easily popular. And at some point, you reach at the point that you have to separate. You have to evolve. You have to separate the amateur part from the professional. And because this did not happen properly, that's why we have these problems now. If you think about it for a minute, you'll see that I'm right. This is the big problem. You cannot have amateur federation, even though it's a world federation or whatever, solar systems federation, whatever, controlling the professional sport. If you do this, and if people obey and feel threatened or whatever, then we should go and find another sport.
Can you give me an idea of like how profitable is this for WAF? You know, like how much money are they making a year? Because you're telling me 100,000 euros just from your country. So now you multiply that by all the other countries on there. Do you have like a rough estimate of what they're bringing in a year because of the monopoly they have, so to say?
I never went into calculations about this, but you can see the Georgian situation. You can see you can check the Malaysian situation. You can see the PAL, PAL, I think, yeah, PAL, and stuff that I never went into numbers, but sometimes it's hundreds of thousands. It's uh, it's very difficult to say. To be honest, I never calculated exact numbers, but the the fact that WAF asked from the Georgian Federation a certain amount in order for them to host World Championship, or what was European, it doesn't matter, some event, and they said no when they got banned for a few years. I think that this explains the situation, and this happened a lot of times, like when Asen and Igor split, the same situation. It was in Poland, and it was about money that one of the guys who had wanted to take. And you can check the numbers because I don't remember them, and I don't want to say something that is not exactly correct, but it's still a big amount.
Yeah.
I had this conversation recently. I didn't remember the number, probably my fault, but this is not the point. The number is not the point. And it's a lot of money. And now they're doing the same thing. I mean, you want to make an event, you have to be sanctioned by WAF. The next thing that follows is that you have to pay license fee because you're sanctioned by WAF. Nobody tells you what this means, like sanctioned by WAF. But it means only one thing. You want to put our logo, then you have to pay. Why? Nobody knows. Because it's a rhetorical question. Everybody knows. Because if you don't do it, you're banned. That's it.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm happy to see that a lot of people are seeing that this ban is it's like you're banned from North Korea. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Right. I don't want to go there anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you touched on the whole Igor and Asan split. Can you kind of break into that a little and kind of give us a little detail of, how did that all come about?
You're now looking into, I don't know, some kind of a news or something. I didn't get into details about this because I think that in this conflict, as far as I saw in documents, I cannot tell who did right and who did wrong. Probably they both did wrong because try to make business in a matter that you don't do business like this. But what I've seen is that years ago there was this PAL organization that was working very well. They had a competition in Vegas. So at some point, this was getting popular. We had the Vendettas. They were working together, Igor and Asen, and everything was good until I found out what is PAL and where is registered. and it's registered on the British Virgin Islands. And there you a little bit lose track about the what's going on with the finances. But after one competition, and I'm speaking about just documents that I've seen, I have no idea what's the agreement between them and what they did. But after one competition in Vegas, apparently Asen gave to Igor the PAL brand, and they agreed on something on it. But he gave the US entity that I think it's something like a branch. I mean, I'm not going specifics because in America you have different legal entity types than in the rest of the world. But let's say something like a subsidiary in the USA, and the money were actually in the BVA. And when we split with the Bulgarian Federation, then I realized what's the connection and why they're holding on this BVA company is because I saw payment for the rent of the office of the Bulgarian Federation, and this is also documented, that goes to one entity in Bulgaria that it's called PAL2, PAS02. I went to the commercial register and it turned out that there are PAL1, PAL2, PAL3, etc. All these entities, they have as a sole shareholder the British Virgin Island company, the same company, and director of these companies is Veronica, the wife of Asen. So they were paying with public money, public funds, to themselves the rent. And I said, okay, fair enough. They lied to the country, to the government. Okay, but let me see who's the owner of this BVA company. And I opened the this was before the Panama Gate. I opened the document because in order to do whatever with the Bulgarian company, you have to present a document showing that this is the sole owner. So you have to present a certificate, and this certificate is issued by the BVA. Yeah, it's not issued by the governmental institution because in the BVA they don't have a governmental institution, so it's a commercial agent. Like, you know how it works. I mean, it's an offshore zone, and it shows the name of a sign. So basically, he is paying the rent with public funds, the rent to himself. Okay, and I said, yeah, this is okay. You can do this. It's not a big amount. Let's say he paid himself a little bit of a bonus, but then I remembered the thing with Vegas, and it started to make sense. I mean, when you ask me to go into details, I cannot. But you know the rule. When something floats like a duck, quacks like a duck, and looks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Now, as far as WAF, is that an actual LLC? Is it, a corporation? Like, how is that all set up and all?
I will leave this to another podcast. Not because I cannot tell you, but because I'm starting to acknowledge that the deeper we go into this stuff, the more they see where their problems are, and they start to patch them. I can easily tell you what WAF is legally, like an organization, what EAF, the European Arm Wrestling Federation, what is this, and even with payments, it's very funny with payments to the European Federation how it goes. But I'm gonna leave this for another podcast because this is a very, very interesting part. But I can only tell you that WAF, this thing does not exist at the moment. This organization exists only because of Engin. If tomorrow Engin wakes up and say, and let's let's say he calls Don, and just they have a short conversation and say, Engin can say, I'm the president of WAF. And he will be the president of WAF. If you understand what I'm trying to say. That's it. It's very simple. If tomorrow John Berzang comes out and say, I'm the president of WAF, he will be the president of WAF. If Devon comes and say, I'm the president of WAF, he will be the president of WAF.
So there's no official title or anything in documents that say that it's actual true?
I'm telling you that I'm going to explain this in another podcast in details. But just for people that think that I'm telling lies or not wanting to explain, go on the WAF website. Just search a little bit. See the article, see the whatever you want. Just go through the whole so-called website. It's broken, yes. It's not well maintained, yes. But this is the same pattern, just on another line, because they tend to do this even with the simple stuff like websites. One guy from Asia made a video on internet. You probably seen it for who is the Sen or something like this. Who is this guy? Because it turned out that nobody knows who is a Sen, who is on the board, WAF, what is WAF, or whatever is happening. And he put a picture of a Sen with the logo of our separate federation. And I text him, listen, this is the logo of our separate federation. We do not have anything to do with SN. And he said, this is what I found on internet. And I said, yeah, of course, because this is the only website that you are going to find of a Bulgarian federation. The other website is of a non-alcoholic drink called Armfight. They don't even have a website. And probably if they watch this podcast, in 2 weeks, they will have a website, because they will say, listen, this moron, this idiot is telling us that we're wrong. So go fast, do a website. This is how they work.
I just want to say I am the new WAF president.
Yeah.
How do the governments?
Nobody cares.
Nobody can test me.
How does the government still like work with somebody like something like this? If there's nothing official, there's no documentation, there's no corporations, like, so how come, what makes a government be okay with all this to work with them and, you know, to allocate money to these guys? Like, that's where I'm like confused.
Because nobody else sent the document. This is how they have documents. I mean, nobody asked, nobody can tell if these documents are okay or not, because there's no legal issue. You present a document from a World Federation that you signed yourself, basically, and this is it. This is the World Federation. There is no other World Federation presented, and we have to do something that also matters in Bulgaria. That in our ministry, when you do this for 20 years, you make some connections. So if something happens, you know how to pull the strings in the mud, because it's muddy water. As I told you, we have a political crisis. We don't have a government. This kind of situation, you can do whatever, and sometimes you can do whatever you want. So that's how you manage to maintain. But after this year, I don't see with what people they're going to maintain. Because you know what happens in real life in Bulgaria? We have our own clubs. We're training. We have new people constantly coming. They see the other federation and they don't go, even though we don't provide the. They stay with us because they see where the training is coming in place, what's happening, and at some point, the people that stayed with the SEN, there are few people that stayed with the SEN for the funding, because of the funding. They some of them, they started asking, "Can I train in your club?" Because they don't even have where to go, and it's very funny. And we let them go. Okay, come train. It's because it's at the end of the day, it's sports. Whatever we're doing in a political level cannot affect our community. So please come. So this is what basically what's happening.
Would you say there's kickbacks going on? Is there people being taken care of in the back channels, and that's why they're letting things go, and that's where they're getting these contracts? Because I know, like, when it comes to like union jobs and all that, there's always people in the government side that are getting money on the return. So if you okay this document, you let us be the main federation. WAF is the main guy. Are people being taken care of? Is that why it's like, everybody's kind of on the same team?
I would refer to the duck example.
Say that again. I didn't. To the
I
what?
would refer to
The duck. The duck.
I
Okay.
don't know for sure, but man, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can answer yourself.
Yeah. The reason why I'm saying this is I just want everybody else to understand.
Very simple. If, let's say, if in another universe I was in the position of Hassan and I wanted to make this, and I was not an arm wrestler, and I didn't give a fuck about this, man, you will never even get this topic on a podcast. Believe me, you will all be WAF, and you will never even understand why you're WAF. So it's very simple. It's very simple. He's just not playing his cards well.
Yeah.
And it's too late. And it's too late. And this is too greedy. You cannot listen. Very simple thing. I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't know, speak high of other nations or something. But man, you cannot be so stupid. You cannot go to the States and say to somebody that you cannot do this.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do this.
Right.
You have to be very stupid and very simple-minded to do this. When you do this, you're over. You're out. It's that simple. Even from this example. Okay, leave Bulgaria, leave Europe. It doesn't matter. Man, you cannot go to Will and Chris and say this match cannot happen.
Right. Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah. And that's what's happening. And in the United States, people are starting to see this and saying, oh, this is not right. Like, that's not how we do things here.
Yeah, but there's no way around it, because they're tied in with their home country and their home government. So if somebody in the United States wants to throw an event and have one of the international pullers there, and they're under the umbrella of WAF, which it seems like almost every country is over there, that's the problem. So it's not like we have no bearing. If we want to bring in an international athlete, we have no power. Yeah, we might be against it, but they're still getting their way, and they're controlling, using the international athletes as the weapon. Like, well, you can't use this because you're not WAF compliant.
But just answer your question. Who is using this? Who is using the top athletes? Is it WAF?
Nope. Engen.
Who is Engen? Where now at the moment? Where are the best athletes competing at?
Turkey, at the East versus West.
And King of the Table.
King of the Table.
Partially.
Which they're all in bed together because of core sports.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And the other organization is?
I guess IFA in a sense, but
the other organization is AMC.
Okay.
Any arm wrestler that knows what arm wrestling is and who is who.
Yeah.
Because if you bring the AMC guys to East versus West, man, they will demolish everybody.
Yeah.
So how is AMC able to do it? What are they doing different?
Your question. Why the people are afraid? And you say we are against, but we cannot do anything. It's not to do anything versus WAF. WAF is holding the athletes because of East versus West. WAF is telling the athletes that they're going to get banned from WAF, and WAF is sanctioning East versus West. So basically, what is banning you is versus West. I mean, East versus West. They claim that they are separate production. They have nothing to do with WAF and stuff. But basically, they're banning you. And if you ask me and Chris, and probably I think that they already explained this, about their matches, about what happened. I mean, how can you be a promoter and not go and discuss? Because when you're a promoter, you're a businessman. You don't go and discuss something with somebody that's you want to deal with. You go and tell third person to text a fourth person to text a fifth person to go and tell somebody else, so you can at the end say, "Nah, it's not me." Come on, man. This is
Yeah, that's exactly what Engen's doing.
and even if I'm nobody and my word means nothing probably to the rest of the world, it doesn't really matter, because as far I'm completely relaxed, because at some point this will fall like a casa del papel.
Yeah.
So
Carta.
how do we combat it in North America? How does like the North American promotions get around this problem? Other than just saying we're not going to deal with any of the international guys.
You have enough athletes that can compete on the promotions. I don't see a problem. There is no problem, because who you want to get into, who want to get involved.
Any of the international pullers. So yesterday we had somebody on here, and he was trying to get, I think it was Bogdan, or there was somebody, and Arson was one of the guys, and then they get the phone call from one of the WAF friendly proxies, so to say, and they say to them, well, these guys are dealing with IFA refs, or they're scaring them in a way not to come here, and then those athletes are feeling like they're going to be banned from WAF. And that's the big problem.
Perfect. Very easy. Get John
Brzezinski, you're saying?
Yeah. Get John. Get Devon. Get Todd Hutchings. Get Travis.
But now they're going under contracts with East versus West, which is essentially off.
Apparently, Devon went to a match with Jordan. Nobody gets banned. Yeah. Recently, I found out that one lady went to the East versus West, and they told her that you have to sign a certain declaration, blah blah blah, and a contract to compete in the qualifiers. And she said yes. They never gave her anything. She competed. She qualified. One of my guys from my club who went to the previous East versus West, not even undercover. He went there and said, "I am Iskren, and I am from Bulgaria, and we are banned. Can I compete?" And of course, the US organizer, they said, "We don't care that you're banned. Come and compete." He qualified. He will never be on the East versus West. But this is because they read their rules in a different manner, whenever it's in their benefit. That's basic. By the way, this is another very interesting topic, because also this coach race going on in the internet, speaking about rules, that these are the rules, and you see that people, they decide for themselves which rules to follow. Bullshit. The rules are the rules in one situation, but in other situation, these rules are not the rules. And I can give examples, but we will waste time. And everybody on the internet, everybody in the arm wrestling community know what I'm talking about. You have rules, but in some cases, in other cases, it's different. Then you don't have rules. So basically, why, when Jordan goes to Canada and basically destroyed Devon on the left hand, you watch this match, and Devon, why Devon is not banned after this? Why? There's no email. There's no. He has a contract. He had a contract.
Because he's bigger. He's bigger than the organization. They depend on him to be their cash cow. Without Devon,
because there is no organization, there is no way to enforce legally the contract. They cannot do anything. You cannot go against Devon. Devon is above federation. John is above federation. Not only, I'm not Todd Hutchings. What are you going to do about Todd Hutchings? Ron Bat. Okay, invite Ron Bass to play with me, for instance, he will destroy me, but it doesn't matter. I'm the one of the, like, if you have grades of banning and the top is 10, I'm 11 in WAF. So get me. Do you think that he will get banned from WAF?
No.
You know what impact this will cause to the States? No, of course not. So you're asking me what to do. Get John on a table with Tsvetan, for instance. And just the first thing that pops in my mind. Or the last that goes up, Tsvetan called out Engin.
Yeah.
So do you think that Engin will?
No.
No. Why?
Because
Why?
one, he would lose.
This okay. Doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
Oh, he won't support. He won't support. Like if Knuckles Up wanted to do that match, he's not going to support and give a platform for that match at a Knuckles Up. He would want it at East versus West.
Perfect. And then the logical question: how this benefits the arm wrestling in overall? How?
It
Because
does. They try to limit everybody except themselves.
yeah, and that's what at this point it will get boring. They're trying to drag more and more people with private contracts because everybody. So this is a public secret. Everybody is receiving a different fee to go there. Everybody has his own contract and everything. Okay, it's fine. It's fine if you're an organization that is private and making his own rules, their own rules. It's fine. But when you start using the word federation, that is the so-called amateur federation, to ban professional athletes, come on, man. I mean, I don't know why we are even having this conversation about this. I mean, it's perfectly clear. We're I don't know. I don't know what else to say. If somebody is not okay with this and do not understand this, go to WAF, please. Please go to WAF. We don't need this. Nobody needs this.
Yeah.
At some point, the logic and the truth will prevail, and this is the simple truth. And if I'm going back, if people are not people don't believe what I'm saying because they don't know me, just see what's the situation in other sports, what happened in other sports.
Well, now that I'm the WAF president, I'm going to disband WAF altogether. Now there is no more WAF.
No, listen, do not become a WAF president.
No.
You don't want to be on top of this Pandora box.
Right.
That's why we wanted to get the license from our federation, but very, very quickly decided that we don't want to take over this federation.
Yeah, right.
Because we don't know what benefit it is.
So when all these I guess countries that can only have one federation, if WAF were to get disbanded and didn't exist anymore, then these countries could start their own federations and get that registered with the government, and then money would shift from WAF to the new federation.
Of course,
is that how that would work?
I saw a comment on, I think it was on Facebook, on the post of the president of the Polish Federation, and somebody asked, how you can get the funding if you don't have the signature of WAF. Very simple. You get the signature from another world federation, and you present to your local federation that this federation WAF is no longer existent, and and even if for them doesn't sound right, they have no legal instrument to prove this.
Oh God, yeah, because they have nothing saying that WAF is a legit federation.
Even if it's a legit federation, it doesn't matter. You're part of a different federation,
right?
And you present to your government the new protocols. That's it. The new documents. That's it. And you say, yeah, we were part of this federation, but things changed. And now this is the new World Federation. And the local government, they cannot say anything because legally they cannot even check. They are not allowed to check. And even if they're allowed to check, they're not competent to check. And most of all, they don't care. That's it.
So these athletes that are international, if they want to come compete in America, and WAF or Engen or whoever reaches out to them and says, "Don't go do that, or you're banned," should they just say "fuck you" and go compete anyway? Because the bans seem like they're not real anyway. Like here, if you're banned, WAF will tell you, "Oh, you just got to sign this paper, and now you're not banned." And then you can rip that piece of paper up after you compete and do it all over again.
Of course, yeah, exactly. It's a bullshit.
So people have to just start having some balls and saying, "Fuck you, I'm going to do what I want."
Of course, WAF is a Facebook organization. It's a social media organization.
But it's still controlling their salaries in a way through the government funding that these athletes are getting for winning their medals and all. So there's
Perfect.
money at the end of the day. Can I ask you this question though? Is there a risk of, other than just being banned, is there, any word of, this is being run with, like you could get strong armed if you don't do what they say, or if you come out with another federation? Because, you're saying that there's so much money involved. Each country seems to be giving £100,000 to, these athletes or whatever. So there's a lot of money behind this. So is this kind of like being run like a mafia and like a strong arm and tactics are being involved at all that you know of?
First, I have no idea how much money they get in local federation in other countries. I have no idea what support they have, what kind of percentage they send back to WAF in order to get the good standing of WAF or whatever. But if you put it this way, I think that you can again answer your own question. What is mafia? It's an organized activity towards earning money regardless of it's legal or not. So if you make documents in order to make money for people that are in your organization, regardless if these training camps really happened or if these people flight with planes or even went to somewhere or whatever, I believe that you can. Oh, sorry, but you can answer your own question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Real quick, we got a super chat from Carolyn. It says, "Hi Ryan, would you give us a summary of why Knuckles Up lost an athlete and Chris lost an athlete last night? Hearing all the sides, you probably know what's happening, so Americans can know what the heck." Yeah, I mean, basically what we've been talking about. People are using WAF bans as a weapon, so they'll text someone and say, "Hey, don't compete there, or you won't be able to get into East versus West, or you can't compete at this WAF event." And they're texting athletes telling them this so that they don't compete.
Wait a second.
Wherever they're going to go.
Wait a second. What you said now, word by word.
Yeah.
You said don't go there because you're going to get banned from WAF, and you're not going to be able to compete on East versus West.
Yes.
The problem of the athlete is not that he is banned from WAF.
Right.
The problem, he is not going to be able to go to another promotion.
Right.
Yeah. Question is, why this athlete wants to go to East versus West? Why?
Because it's the biggest stage. Yeah, it's the spotlight of our sports, the Super Bowl.
Leave the money aside for a second. Why you want to have the opportunity to go to East versus West?
It's the most known out there.
Good. Why?
It's like the UFC, when you're in MMA world, UFC's the pinnacle. That's where, all the best in the world are coming together and competing.
Perfect. Exactly. All the best in the world are competing there. How are the best in the world competing in East versus West when some of the best are banned? How can you even claim this title? How can you claim a world champion in 90 kilos without pulling Plummen?
Yeah.
How to claim a world champion title on 70 kilos without pulling Tsvetan?
Well, it's kind of like
Pulling Tsonev 100 kilos without pulling Stefan. How? And these are renowned players, athletes. And I'm also mentioning Bulgarian names. I'm not even getting into the AMC. When you saw AMC, sorry.
I know the answer to that. It's
So
people just assume it because Engen says it.
afraid that you're not going to be in East versus West because this is the top dog. No, it's not. I mean,
Right.
in 1 year, Knuckles Up can be better. And
Yeah. It will be, yep. It's only because Engen is saying it, and that's what people see, and they just believe it because he's the only one saying that his promotion is the best in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you're believing one guy's opinion of his own organization. Basically.
No, because he started in a time frame in which there was nothing else.
Yeah.
Top 8 faded away a little bit because of why.
Yeah.
Political stuff. Then COVID. Then the war in Ukraine. So this faded away. Good. But this is where 11 started. And there, at some point, there was only East versus West. Good. Credits to Engen. Perfect. But if you remember how East versus West 1 started, and if you can check, I'm not going to details, please, everybody, check how it all started. Good for Engen. He did good. But you cannot continue this way. You cannot demolish the competition like a dictator, like this. And at some point, this is all over. And you have a lot of arm wrestlers. And what he did, business-wise, is he a little bit shoot his own leg. Because making this promotion and this product and having Devon and Berzang on this promotion, because basically these are the main names, and 11, okay, 3 names. You are making the sport more and more popular. This means that a lot of more and more athletes will go to arm wrestling. This means that there will be a need for more and more promotions. And this is exactly what East versus West was
Roy
doing.
Stone says the best are in East versus West. Let's not become delusional now, aside from a few. Do you agree with that?
I have no idea. You cannot tell. Like I told you, you cannot tell that someone is the best when he never competed with guys that are banned,
right?
Without even having the right to pull.
Yeah, and like here in the United States, Simon is always saying how WAF is better than IFA, but when you have WAF banning people from going to IFA, you can't compare the two because they're not letting people pull where they want to pull.
That's why everything has to be free.
Another $5 super chat. Thank you, Carolyn. Says, what if Knuckles Up has all WAF refs and athletes, but the cook is from WAF? Will they get shivved and lose an athlete randomly because of this? Well, Simon did have a meeting where he came out and said, even if your brackets guy has competed at an IFA World Championship, you can't have international athletes there because the guy running your bracket system was at. I mean, that's just crazy to me.
And even if you change the bracket guy,
yeah, then they find a new reason.
Probably if you have the janitor,
right? Yeah.
From IFA, probably this will be a reason. Yeah, I mean,
it's always something.
This
goalpost is always moving.
I read what Simon wrote under comments on posts. I spoke with a bunch of guys that are in global arm wrestling for a lot of years. I have no idea personally. I don't know the guy, but I cannot see why this guy is defending this stuff. And his comments are like ridiculous. I would be glad to have a conversation with this guy, Simon? Just like a man to man to see, man, are you insane, or you have a hidden agenda?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
Yanni, he's the
Even the first
self-anointed. He's the self-anointed representative of North America, so he's under the umbrella, So him having that title, that's why his self-motivation of being there. He's somebody.
I'm not that stupid. I can see this. That this is the point. He's like, he has his own agenda, and he just went. I'm the representative of WAF, and probably because there is no other representative, and just this is the place that
There's no election. There's no way of anybody voting or anything. He just is the self-anointed and has been for decades now.
But,
Which that's not how things should work.
but why there should be an election? It's WAF. There is no election. There was
Right.
cannot. You're in WAF. This means no election.
So Hassan has never been elected his title or anything.
But it is.
He's the president for, how many years is it now that he's the
It's been a
sole
while.
king of it?
I
Long.
have. Yeah. I on the last worlds that we went to Greece, I went just to see what's going on. We all did from Bulgaria, and I saw enormous US team. On there was never, I think 80 or something like people on the world. There was never such team on WAF, never. So I could tell that these comments are,
Yeah. So, because there's so much to go over, would you be willing to split this up into, like, come on Paul's channel, maybe come on here again, go on Will and Chris's, to just try to get more of all this stuff out?
of course.
What I would like to do with Yanni on my channel, if it would be possible, is I would want to do like a question and answer time where I want to get a bunch of people that have been in the sport, 30, 40 years, and just, that are more, they know the past and they've lived through it and they've seen it all progress. I would like to have them come on with us and just be able to pick your brain, because there's a lot of stuff that I feel like they're going to want to have questions for. And I think you are the guy that could shed some light on it. So I would really love to arrange something like that.
Even better. But just keep in mind that the situation at the moment, which is the most important, it's not very difficult to understand. I mean, it will take time for people to understand, but it's not that difficult. But yes, I am completely open to whatever agenda you have on the podcast. It doesn't matter, because it's not something. I mean, when we in Bulgaria, when we discussed a lot, believe me, a lot about this stuff, and at the end of the day, we saw that there is no way to lose when you're on the side that you have nothing to hide, because we don't have nothing to hide, anything to hide. So yeah, we can go on question and answer, of course.
You know what it is, Yanni? It's over by you guys. It's been known for so long, so it all makes sense to you guys. We're just learning this now. We're getting bits and pieces, and I think a lot of people are a little confused. They don't really understand what's going on. Until today, a lot of people were making it two separate entities between Engen and WAF, and I understand it, and I keep trying to explain it, and everybody was coming at me like, "Bro, stop bringing up Engen. Engen has nothing to do with WAF. It's WAF." But I understand, I've been listening to you guys, and I kind of get it all, how everybody's in bed together, and a lot of the North American normal arm wrestlers don't understand that, and they're still defending that it's two separate entities. So I think you made that clear today for people and kind of broke it down so that they could kind of understand that. So that was a really great plus. But I also want to bring on some of the guys, such as like Bob Brown, and he's been in it, from the beginning. He was part of the original meet, like whatever you call when everybody comes together. I think he was on the board of the original WAF before it split. So, he knows a lot of, the intricate details and how it actually went down. And I would just love for him to be able to ask you some questions. And, I think he could really enlighten us even more and kind of, I think it would be a very productive thing. And the thing that I'm trying to achieve here is, I don't want people to think that, I'm trying to start like a war just with, one person or an organization. I'm trying to better arm wrestling, and I see where we're having a problem on the other side of the world. And now I see that problem coming over here to North America. And the last thing that I want to see is a dictatorship in arm wrestling, because it takes away from what we all came into the sport for, was to grow the sport. By them making a dictatorship and only having one side, and this is how it's going to be, you're not growing arm wrestling. It's actually going in the opposite direction. And I think people are getting greedy, and the greed is kind of taking over everything. So before that actually happens and comes to North America, I want people to at least know what is coming, and what side. I'm not pushing them to take one side, but just hear out the facts, and then you guys can make your own decision. You know what I mean? And that's really what I really look to accomplish here. And, I really appreciate you coming in and kind of, opening up, the folders and kind of letting us know exactly what's going on. And another person that did that as well was Jordan Sonov. When I had that interview with him, my mouth was dropped. He showed me the exact details, and now I could understand what's going on. I don't got to hear from other people, oh, it's corruption. It's corruption. He's showing us the facts and showing us how it's actually happening. And I always say, follow the money and you'll get your answers. And I think that's kind of what we're doing.
Not even about corruption. It's about what you said. It's about growing of the sport. I mean, when you do something for the sport, and you are the guy that does the shitty work. I mean, there will always be such guys, but the sport will grow and the promotion will get you the money. The first thing, Bob Brown. I really want to speak with this guy. He probably not probably for sure. He has more information about the past that I have, and for what was going on in the States and in WAF and whatever. I mean, as you can tell, all the stuff that I told you are from facts that I know and from facts that you also know. So I was leading you to the logical conclusion every single time. So
well, I got Engen here. I don't know if you can see this, but
yeah, and sometimes it's common sense. But I'm seeing now, and I was about to address the second part.
Roy Seven said, "I'm saying how come Krasimir and Yorgi don't have any issues with WAF?"
Thank you, Roy. Thank you very much. How come? Krasimir, before we got banned and went after our local federation, he came to me and asked me, Yanni, how we can do this legally, how we can make a congress and everything. By that time, this was like, let's say 1 year before the split. By that time, he was banned. He was not in good standing. This is my favorite. Not with good standing with WAF. And I said, listen, Krasi, we call a congress. We ask for a congress. We sit on a congress and we vote. That's it. And he said, yeah, but in order to do this, Asen asks me to sign a declaration, and this is against my principles. And this declaration is something like, I will love you forever and everything will be fine. Something like this. And I said, okay, go sign this declaration, go to the Congress, present your own club, vote, and show him the middle finger. That's it. Simple as it is. And he said, I'm not this type of guy. And I said, okay, let's go a step back. What are you asking me then? And he said, I cannot sign this declaration because I don't agree that I have to apologize to Asen. And I said something that probably offended him, something like you're acting childish or something like this. And he stopped speaking to me. So this is how this conversation about the federation in Bulgaria and WAF, because it's connected 100%. What happens in Bulgaria happens in WAF and vice versa. And so that was it with Krasi. I offended him. Sorry, but this was the truth. He asked me something legally. I answered legally. That's it. And about Georgie, this is a guy that I would, I don't want to, but because of, I respect everybody that is on the podcast, and I will say something, but in any other circumstance, I would not speak about this guy because he went, he was banned. He went through a lot of years cursing Asen, his wife, his family, and you can ask Delijakov, you can ask Lengarov, Marin Pantalev, everybody that was with Golemanov, everybody that was in the hall with him in the gym, you can ask them that he was swearing that and cursing that I hope they die and whatever. He was against the Sen strongly on words. Then when shit got real, he somehow pulled off and start uh, verbally abusing me. That I tricked everybody. You see, I'm a magician. I trick people into doing something with showing them facts and letting them decide what to do. And I'm a trickster. And then he started doing the same against me, even threatening me on the phone, which I have this conversation. I have people that recorded threats that he will slaughter me and my family and my kids. Stuff that are, I didn't went through it because he's a kid. In his head, he's a little child. And I do not want to spend this time to go after something that is going to be void, even if he gets the justice. Nothing will be of benefit for the sport out of it. It's a personal thing. And because from our side, there are a lot of people that know him better than me personally. They told him, listen, this is it's benign. And I said, okay, since you're telling me that, then I'm going to work towards the direction that we're working. But if you don't, and I beg you not to take my word on it. Just speak with people that had interactions with him. And to answer Roy's question that he asked why he's with the Sen, he's from the same small town that the Sen is. He's the president of his club until recently was the wife of a Sen. And they had some things going on between themselves during the years. So why is he with the Sen? I have no idea. But probably because nobody in Bulgaria knows why he's doing anything. That's why. He's a big guy, he's a strong guy, but the stuff that he's doing are not even outside of arm wrestling. Believe me, they don't make sense. You cannot threat somebody, you cannot sit on a table. We ask him for opinion, he stays silent, and afterwards go somewhere and starts cursing towards people. So yeah, I'm not talking to Ryan and Paul at the moment. I'm talking to the guy that.
Yeah.
So believe me or not, I don't care. I'm telling you my opinion. Feel free to ask whoever you want, and especially for this guy, because he said, and this is on record, that he will slaughter me and my family and my kids. So yeah, about this guy, I have a personal thing about this guy. That's it.
And Jordan Sonov kind of alluded that he didn't get into the details like that, but he said that on the interview as well. That guys, if you haven't already, get over to my channel, check that out. It was about 2 weeks ago. I did an amazing interview with Jordan Sonov, and he really got into a lot of these details and broke into things, and it was very enlightening for me. It really showed me, what was really going on. So I encourage you guys to go check that out for sure. And then as far as Roy's question to Yanni about Krasimir, if you weren't on at the beginning of the show, which I don't think you were, Yanni went on to it, and Krasimir was the beginning of having a problem with Asan and WAF, and he was the original guy that brought up a case against them, but it didn't go right. I believe that's what you said, Yanni, at the beginning.
No,
Am I correct?
was first to start this thing. He was at this point. He was in position because he was a multiple world champion, the best in Bulgarian arm wrestling, and he was in the right position. He just didn't. He just didn't do things in the right legal way. But what happened, because I was there, this happened on one of the Bulgarian national championships, and I was there, and what basically happened is that everything that Krasimir wanted to do was turned down by two sentences, one from Asen and one from his wife. Asen said, "I will not speak to a guy that is wearing a t-shirt on the table." Sorry, I don't know what it has to do with this. And the second was from his wife. I'm not quoting, something like, "How do you dare to speak like this? We made you." Yeah, I have no further comment. And this is something that I'm completely aware that I'm telling now in this podcast, and that it's my word. But please feel free to ask whoever you want, because otherwise I would have never told this on the podcast. It was like me and him or something.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask whoever you want.
I mean, I've gotten like 30, 40 messages of people saying that this is great and they want to hear more. And so I think, if you come back and go on Paul's podcast and ours or Chris and Will's, like I think more people are going to tune in.
Perfect. But I just so everybody can.
What nationality is Asan?
Bulgarian. From a small time in small town.
Oh, he's Bulgarian. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. Bulgaria, know what it is? It's a third world country, post-Soviet country.
So he's banning his own country.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Man, when we took a picture of the whole nationals now at the IFA, and believe me, this was like a walk in the park for us. This was not even everybody. Jordan couldn't come. Plowman couldn't compete. Tsetan was injured. A lot of other guys were, but that's okay. 53 people. We are first in juniors and youths under 21. Second in disabled people, although this is the least number of people that we ever had on this. Third, men and women, and 13 overall, with 53 people. And when we took the picture of the national team, although few of them were missing because they had to go earlier and etc., and I sent this to one person at the ministry with the text, "National team looking for a federation." Because this is what it is. I mean, he banned the whole sport from his own federation. Good for him. And that's it. I just to address what you said, Ryan.
Yeah,
it's going to make a sensation out of this. Nobody cares about this. It's not a sensation. It's something that happened in a lot of sports through the years, a lot of times, and the wheel is turning and it's turning. We're just at this point that, the community has to uh, heal, because, like Svetan said before, I'm the one to blame because I let this guy to go so high. So that's it.
Yeah.
Let's not look into sensation and he said, she said, or whatever, but just so for the people to know, and outside of what I'm saying or what Jordan is saying or whatever who is saying, just uh, I'm begging that people can look into the problems and the facts that are in the internet and they can see, and with clear mind, and just make their own mind.
Yeah. I mean, the information's out there. Just go, like you said, you go to their website.
Yeah,
I've been to their website and none of it makes sense. And even like their way to look up banned athletes is silly. Makes no sense.
it's chaotic.
Yeah. You can't even really get a straight answer. And I don't even think the list they have is complete. So
go to the articles before they change them. Go to the articles. There is a section with the bylaws, the articles of association.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, please find out the registration number. Find that if there is a registered address, where is written that you have Mircea as secretary, Asen as president. Please do this before, because they are going to change this. Once they hear what I'm saying now, believe me, it's a matter of time that they're going to fix this. This is what they do. They are following our steps. We file a signal at the Ministry of Sports in Bulgaria. 2 weeks later, they fixed it.
Yeah.
We're doing something like a competition-wise, technical, in the manner that it should be done in Bulgaria. We're making one big competition at the beginning of the split, and on their next competition, they just copied everything because, this is what they do.
Yeah.
If I go into further details, they will patch and patch and patch, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're trying to cover up their steps, mistakes.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, I'm in the middle of texting with Bob Brown, and I told him what I wanted to do. So he wants to set it up for next week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us in a group, me, you, and Bob, Yanni, and we could set something up. And I think he's definitely interested in coming on and having a conversation with all of us.
I don't know how to put it. I would be glad to do this. I mean, my respects to Bob. I don't know the guy, but I know who he is, and my respects to him. And I believe that he is one of the people in this sport that clearly it's he's how to put it. He has to make a statement.
Yes. And he knows all the past. He knows all the players in it. He's he's the one that kind of enlightened me over the last year or so of everything that's going on. And anytime I would have a question, he would always have the answers. And finding that he was on the original board, and he didn't like a lot of the ways that WAF went when it split, and he refused to be part of that after that. So I think it would be very insightful to have you guys just talking and kind of let him just ask some questions. You'll probably have some questions for him, and I think it could help out the community kind of fully understand what's going on as well.
What I don't understand about the splits and IFA and WAF, the only thing, and this is my last, the last thing that I'm saying. Is I don't understand why when IFA split from WAF, people had to choose where to go. Where this is the same community, the same people. So basically, the question is why these people that split didn't go to the Congress of WAF and said what they want to say. And it's a rhetorical question. But just think about this. Why they didn't go to the Congress? Why? They were like physically obstructed or
Bribed.
I
Who
don't know.
knows? Yeah.
Because if you're the majority or some portion of WAF, why you cannot vote on the Congress of WAF? And even if you vote, let's say you lose, because if in a normal democracy, if you have 100 people and 30 of these people vote against and 70 are for, then these 30 people that are against, they will have to comply. That's it.
Yep.
They go out. But in this situation, it's not 30%. And how the fuck these people are against something and there is nothing on record? And suddenly they reappear in space and they make another federation that is now almost or probably the same size as the other federation. I'm pretty sure that is the same size. I mean, after I saw the US team on the World's Championships, man, this is a different level. I'm not sure that there is even another sport that has such big, except the Olympics, that has such big US team. It was, I don't know if you saw the numbers and if you saw the competition, it was amazing. It was like more than 50 people from Poland. We had like really big team from Japan, people from Canada, a lot of people from Canada, from, I'm not going to mention even Sweden, Finland, Denmark. I mean, developed countries. And on the other hand, we have Croatia, Romania, Moldova, Kazakhstan, Turkey. I mean, I have nothing against the countries, but you can see the difference.
Yeah.
How many athletes were from United States?
I don't want to lie, but something like 80.
Wow.
86. I think I saw somewhere 86, but I'm not sure if this is the athletes and the officials or whatever. The numbers was
in that range.
It was very big. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Very strong team. By the way, I spoke with a lot of the guys, really great guys. I mean, they're like, they care about only arm wrestling and friendship and stuff like this. No WAF conversation, no bands, they didn't give a fuck. The way it should be. Because after, bottom line is that you go on a competition and you compete and we see who the best arm wrestler is. Not who is banned and cannot pull you, and you have a certain referee. You win the competition, but then you're stripped out of the battle, and then whatever happens, it's like, I know, I get it if it was soccer or football, whatever you call it, but it's arm wrestling, man. It's not a multi-billion corporation. Everybody is doing everything for small amount of money or even just for fun.
Yeah.
And pride, you know what I
That's
mean?
the whole point to arm wrestling. You want to see who the best is or who you can beat, or that's the whole point of the sport, and they try to take it away.
This is why even this thing occurred, arm wrestling. Even if you look at the history, this is the easiest and cheapest way to see who is better. Very small scale strength comparison.
Yeah. Well, I think we should end it here because that was a lot of information for people to process. And I think Paul, we'll talk, and I think Paul will have you on his show with Bob, which will be awesome. And
let's do it next week again, Saturday evening, because this is the only way that I can recover on the Sunday.
What I'm going to do with you, Yanni, is I'm going to put in a group, me, you, and Bob, and we could figure out time wise, because Bob's one of those that he's up at the crack of dawn and he goes to sleep real early. So we'll make it work for everybody, and you know, I just want to thank you for giving us your time today, brother. And, you know, I know we got you up past your bedtime and all, but a lot of respect for you, my man. I'm glad we had this conversation today.
No, don't worry. I've given up a lot of time and energy for the arm wrestling. So the staying up 2 hours later, it's nothing. Yeah.
Oh, we appreciate it though. And thanks for coming on. And you've been great. Knuckles Up speaks highly of you and the conversations they've had with you. So I think you're shedding a lot of light on something that people needed to see.
Yes, definitely. And guys in the chat, want to thank you guys. You had a lot of engaging questions and all.
Sorry, but at some point, I mean, I'm not. Even if you want, you can erase my cam or my name or whatever. It doesn't matter. At some point, enough is enough, and just I'm the guy that can explain it more clearly. This is it's a technical thing.
Well, I mean, you have so much information. We're probably going to have you on like 40 more times. So
I don't mind if it's going to be better for the community, for the people to understand, and for everything can go forward. Because our main goal, we didn't split because we hate the Sen or we hate WAF or whatever. This is what they're trying to exploit, but it's not.
Yeah.
The main goal is just to get over the politics and everything, and just bring everybody together. That's it. This is very simple. A global round table that everybody sits together and decide what they're going to do. No bans, no nothing. I mean, go and compete with everyone. One world championship, one European championship, regardless of the national stuff that are going on. If you can file something, file. If you cannot, you don't do it. But no getting into the professional stuff. Or you can have two. Look at the other sports. They have amateur federation, professional, or several professional federations. Doesn't matter. It has nothing. I mean, if your athlete Ryan on your promotion gets banned, perfect. But this ban will be because you did something wrong. And the guy that is not the guy, the community, the board that is going to ban you will be Chris, Will, Paul, whatever, the other guys that you're in the professional sport. This means that you have business-wise did something wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the world.
Right. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They should be separate things.
Like everywhere else.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And I think just from this interaction, I think a lot of us will have more questions and specific stuff.
Gun show, baby.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. And get some sleep.
This is for fun. Nay, I know your forearm is bigger.
Yeah, but you could kill me on the table, probably, man. 20 years experience, yeah, for sure.
This will be a very interesting match.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 172, 5, something like this.
So what is that in? What? Check that out, Ryan. How tall is he?
Let me do the
1 meter, 70 something centimeters. 75, I believe it is. What you need in feet?
Yeah, feet.
Yeah, 5'7.5" or something.
Oh, he's right in my ballpark right there. There we go. I'm 5'6". Yeah, I'm 5'6". I'm right next to you over there.
Yeah, something like this. Yeah. How much? What's your weight?
176 right now. So, but I could go up to, like 198 if I had it. And I think you're around there.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right there. You told me, I think it was 196 pounds you were telling me before.
Yeah, we're the same place. So, yeah.
Well, you're welcome here anytime, brother. Anytime. And I'm at Petaluma. So, that's where arm wrestling, in North America begun. And I could show you a nice tour around and take you to the arm wrestling statue and all that stuff.
If we can combine with the Knuckles Up somehow, it will be a great match.
Oh,
do you have any talks for future matches maybe with Knuckles Up?
Me for my match.
Yeah.
If you ask anybody in Bulgaria, I'm open for all kind of matches. I don't care.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
There we go. You and Paul on Knuckles Up.
Sure. Put me up against the guy that's been arm wrestling 20 years. I'm sure you'd love that, Ryan.
Payback.
All right, fellas. I'm about to get out of here. I got to go watch the playoff baseball games about to start. Thank you again, Yanni. It was really a lot of fun talking, bro. And we'll stay in touch. And like I said, I'll put us in the group right away with Bob Brown.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks, Yanni. I'll message you.
Appreciate that you invited me on the podcast, and Ryan.
Time, man. Anytime.
Thank you.
We'll do this again soon and get into more detail.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. See ya.
Off because I don't know how to do it.
All right. I'll end it.
Bye.
There we go.